Right. There's a listening activity in your textbook in Unit 4. Let's go through it. Have you all have your textbooks with you? Have your textbooks with you? Textbooks go. Right. And then draw this one. Right. Draw this one simply in your exercise book. I'll give you the instructions. You can do the task. Or you can write in your textbook with using your pencil. Mark in your textbook using your pencil, and then copy it in your writing book later. Right. Now I'll read the paragraph. You have to listen it carefully and find out the buildings. Right. For first reading you can listen, and for the second reading you can find the answers, and for the third reading you can check your answers. Right. Now listen. Mr. Silva, Mr. Raj and Mr. Kumar have been good friends for years. Every Sunday they get together for a chat, and they often go to the nearest park for a walk. They live in flats in the same building, and they are close to each other. There are 4 flats in the building, and they are above the shops. The first shop is below Mr. Silva's flat, and it is the bookshop. Mr. Raj lives in between Mr. Silva's and Mr. Kumar's flat. The cobbler's shoe shop is below the flat where Mr. Kumar lives. The knitter's cloth shop is the middle one. Nobody lives in the flat which is next to Mr. Kumar's flat. They sold it and went abroad. The staircase is at the space which is next to the cobbler's. So, Mr. Silva has to pass Mr. Raj's and Mr. Kumar's flats to come down. When their friends or relations visit their places, first time they have to go around the building to find the entrance. Right? Now I am reading it again. You can find whose building and which whose flat is, which one is whose flat, and the shops. Mr. Silva, Mr. Raj and Mr. Kumar have been good friends for years. Every Sunday they get together for a chat, and they often go to the nearest park for a walk. They live in flats in the same building, and they are close to each other. There are 4 flats. There are 4 flats in the building, and they are above the shops. The first shop is below Mr. Silva's flat, and it is the bookshop. Mr. Raj lives in between Mr. Silva's and Mr. Kumar's flats. The cobbler's shoe shop is below the flat where Mr. Kumar lives. The knitter's cloth shop is the middle one. Nobody lives in the flat which is next to Mr. Kumar's flat. They sold it and went abroad. The staircase is at the space which is next to the cobbler's. So, Mr. Silva has to pass Mr. Raj's and Mr. Kumar's flats to come down. When their friends or relations visit their places, first time they have to go around the building to find the entrance. Right, again I am reading, you can check. Right. Look now. Mr. Silva, Mr. Raj and Mr. Kumar have been good friends for years. Right, who are the persons? Mr. Silva, Mr. Kumar and Mr. Raj. Right. Every Sunday they get together for a chat and they often go to the nearest park for a walk. They live in flats in the same building and they are close to each other. There are 4 flats in the building and they are above the shops. Yes. Right. They are above the shops. The first shop is below Mr. Silva's flat. Right. First shop is below Mr. Silva's flat and it is the bookshop. Mr. Raj lives in between Mr. Silva's and Mr. Kumar's flat. So Mr. Silva and Mr. Kumar may be next to Raj. Right. The cobbler's shoe shop is below the flat where Mr. Kumar lives. Right. It is below Mr. Kumar's flats. Right. Or this one may be cobbler's. The knitter's cloth shop is the middle one. Cloth shop is the middle one. So this is the cloth shop. Named knitters.
Miss cloth shop saying below.
Right. Nobody lives in the flat which is next to Mr. Kumar's flat. So there is nobody next to Kumar's flat. They sold it and went abroad. The staircase is at the space which is next to the cobbler's. Right, which is next to the cobbler's. Right. The first shop is below Mr. Silva's flat. First shop. This is the first shop, Silva's flat. So this one is Mr. Silva's flat. Mr. Silva's flat. And it is the bookshop. This is the bookshop. Right. Mr. Raj lives in between Mr. Silva's and Mr. Kumar's flat. So he is living between Silva and Kumar. So this is Mr. Kumar's flat. Right. The cobbler's shoe shop is below the flat where Mr. Kumar lives. Right. This is the cobbler's. This is the shoe shop. Right. The knitter's cloth shop is the middle one. Right. This is the knitter's cloth shop is the middle one. Nobody lives in the flat which is next to Mr. Kumar's flat. So here's nobody. Nobody is here. They sold it and went abroad. The staircase is at the space which is next to the cobbler's. So here's the staircase. The staircase is here. Right. So Mr. Silva has to pass. Mr. Raj and Mr. Kumar's flat to come down. Right. That's right. When their friends or relations visit their places first time, they have to go around the building. They have to go around the building to find the entrance. This is the entrance. Entrance is here. Right. Right. Now you can check your answers. And then we can start with the new unit, Unit 5. Check your answers. First one is Mr. Silva's flat, Mr. Raj and Mr. Kumar. The bookshop is below Mr. Silva's flats and the knitter's, the cloth shop is below Mr. Raj's flat and the cobbler's shoe shop is below Mr. Kumar's flats. The next the staircase is next to the cobbler's. Right. Now let's move on. Right. Take out your unit 5 in your textbook. Right. Have an overview of it. Go for a skimming. Don't read it deeply. No need to read it deeply now. By looking at it, you can find out. This is a conversation between Lahiru and his who are there?
Parents.
Right. Mother, Lahiru, mother, father, mother, and Lahiru. So this is a conversation between Lahiru and his parents. Right? Parents. It takes place at
Lahiru's home. Lahiru's home.
right. Right. It's nearly 6:50. Right. By looking at this, you can find out. Lahiru, you have to help me to prepare dinner. So they are at Lahiru's home. It is taking place at Lahiru's home. Right. They are talking about the dash of Akimoto's family to Sri Lanka. About the arrival. Right. Akimoto is Lahiru's pen friend. Right. Right. This is to have an overview of the dialogue. Now let's go to the role play. Sorry. Right. Let's go to the role play. Right. Lahiru's pen friend is Kenta Akimoto. You all have it in your book. Have your book? Right. Lahiru's pen friend is Kenta Akimoto. Lahiru and his family are eagerly waiting to welcome the Akimoto family. Right. So, Lahiru's pen friend is visiting Sri Lanka. So, they are eagerly waiting. But is eagerly? Very anxiously. Eagerly waiting. Son, mother is asking, son, what's the time? What time will they leave Japan? So, Akimoto is from Japan. From this conversation, you can conclude that Akimoto is from Japan. So, what time will they leave Japan? They would have left by now. They would have left. Lahiru thinks that they would have left by now. They live closer to Nagoya Airport. Right? Nagoya Airport is in Japan. They live closer to Nagoya Airport. That's good. Let me think. Nagoya to Sri Lanka. She is puzzled, means confused. How to find the answer? She don't know. She doesn't know. Further, it's nearly 6,500 kilometers from Nagoya to Sri Lanka. Really? How long will it take? It will take about 8.5 hours. Are there any direct flights? Yes, I checked. And they are taking a direct flight to Colombo. So they are coming by direct flight to Colombo. Right? Let's get ready to go to the airport to pick them up. So mother wants to go to the airport to pick them up to their home. But Lahiru says, mother, remember, we needn't go to the airport. They will take a taxi to come here. So they will take a taxi to come here. Ah yes, you told me about it this morning. Are you sure of it? Yes, father, I checked with him when he wrote to me last. So he's his pen friend. In his last letter, he mentioned that he will take a taxi to reach Lahiru's home from the airport. All right, Lahiru, you have to help me to prepare dinner. Sure, mother, I will. I'll help you too. That's great. Right? This is a simple conversation between Lahiru and his parents regarding the arrival of Kenta Akimoto, Lahiru's pen friend who is visiting from Japan. Right. They are waiting. They will arrive Sri Lanka and reach their home by taxi. Right. Now you can answer these questions. These are in your textbook. Lahiru has a pen friend in Japan. What do you think about it? Whether it is true or false?
True.
Right, it is true. There are no direct flights from Nagoya. No, they are coming by a direct flight. In this conversation, they said that, right? How they are coming? Are there any direct flights? Yes. So, no is the wrong answer. Right. Lahiru called his pen friend over the phone to ask about the airport pickup. Did he call? No. Look here. He checked with him when he wrote to me last. So, he checked by the mail, by the letter. So, this is false. Lahiru and his father will help mother to prepare dinner. Right? They agree here? No? Alright, Lahiru, you have to help me to prepare dinner. Sure, mother, I will. I will help you too. So, both are going to help mother to prepare dinner. Right? This is true. Right. There's another activity too. Do it as your homework in your writing book. Right? Do this activity at in your writing book as the homework. We can check the answer in the next class. Now, we are starting a new session, affixes. Right. In English, we have only 26 letters. Then, how do we form words? We use affixes to form more words from a base word. What is an affix? A part that is added to words either at the beginning or at the end of the word that changes or affects the meaning of the word. So, affixes are added at the beginning or at the end of the word to change or affect the meaning of the word. Right? There are two types of affix. They are prefix and suffix. Right? Prefix and suffix. Pre mean at the beginning. So, prefix added to the beginning of a word. To the beginning of a word. Or word in the thodakkadhula words add pannamanda, letters add pannamanda, it is prefix. For example, possible, it is added with im and made as an opposite impossible. Right? It changes the meaning. And the suffix is added to the end of the word. Right? Past plus ed, past. It changed the tense to have already gone past someone or something. So, there are two types of affixes. They are prefix and suffix. The prefix is added at the beginning of the word and the suffix is added at the end of the word. Right? Now look here. Right. Now let's look What are prefix and suffix? Right? Prefixes and suffixes. What do? They create new words. They give us some new words, usually modifying or changing the meaning of a root word. There are some root words. When we are going to the next slide, you can understand what is a root word. If you take a root word like employ, this is a verb, this is a root word. Right? This is the simplest word. It can't be more simplified. This is a simple word. Employ. Or happy. Happy is the root word, the simplest word. We can see how their meaning changes, right? When adding prefix un plus employ plus suffix ed, it gives unemployed. The verb, it was a verb earlier, and now it changed as an adjective. Unemployed students, unemployed people, unemployed graduates, right? Like that, it is now an adjective describing a group of people, describing a people. He is an unemployed boy. She is an unemployed woman, right? Adjective with a negative meaning. At the same time, it gives the negative meaning. Adhe nera negative ana meaning e tharudhu, right? So the prefix and suffix some changes the word class, meaning, and gives negative form also, right? Happy plus ness. Happy is an adjective. Happy child, happy man. Like that, happy is an adjective. Right. Here, happy plus the suffix ness is added, and now happiness, the adjective, becomes a noun. It is a noun. Happiness another noun, right? When it ends with y, right, y, it becomes I or final e often disappears, right? Happiness, the y disappears and becomes I. Final e kadasila e irundha e illama poyidum, mostly illama poyidum. Y irundha y vandu I ah change pandrom. Y is changed as I, right? What is a base word? Base word can be said as, in another name, it can be called as the root word. Base word can be called as the root word. Root word.
Yes, miss.
Root word, right? Root word. A root word is a word in its simplest form, right? The simplest form is found in the root word. Root word has nothing added to it. The simplest form is the root word, right? Part, ground, right, read, quiet. It can't be broken up more. Innum udachikkondu poyala idu avladhan adinte final form. Idu taandi idu innum chinnanaakiladu. This is the base word. We can call it as root word, right? Can you find the base words for these? These are not base words. You have to find out the base words. Played. In this played, we added suffix. So what may be the root word? Root word enna vairukkum? Play, right? Running. What is the root word here? Run. Reheat. Heat. The prefix is added here. Quickly. What is the root word? Quick. Unhappy. The root word is happy, right? Right. Like that. The base words are added with more words, suffixes or prefixes, and made new words. Made into new words, right? Now look, prefixes. What is a prefix? Suffix, prefix and now we are looking at the prefix. What is the prefix? Prefix is added at the beginning of a word or word in the beginning la porum, right? They change the meaning of the base word. Mostly they give the opposite. Opposite. Not at all the times. Mostly they give opposites, right? Un plus happy, unhappy. Re, do, redo. Do it again, that is the meaning, right? And now some commonly used prefixes are given here. Right. Pre, commonly used, no? Test, pre-test. Right. Pre, it is a Latin origin word. Pre, meaning is before. Pre means before, right? So pre-test, like that. Inter, it is also Latin word. Between means between. That what is the meaning of inter? Between. Interface. Mono, it is the Greek word prefix. It means one. Monoplane, monocycle, right? Mono, one or single. Un, that is a Latin word origin. It gives the negative form. Not. Unhappy, untidy, unclean, like that. Un. And re, if you can note them, note re, it is a Latin word. The meaning is back or again. Repaint, replay, right? Do it again meaning. And dis, that is a Latin word. Apart or not. Disconnect, sorry, there's a spelling mistake. Disconnect, right? Not the prefix and the meaning, that's enough. If you want the example, note them. No need for origin thevilla. Don't copy the origin, write the prefix, meaning, and if you need, write an example, right? Right. If you can, take a screenshot, otherwise note it quickly. Right. Here is also the prefix and the meaning. Right. What is it? Anti, against. Antibiotics, antithesis, antifreeze, against. Anti means against, right? And D, it is also opposite. D also gives opposite. Decompose, decode, like that. This is the opposite, right? This is also the opposite, not, meaning not. Disconnect, disembark, something. And M goes to emphasis, goes to M, right? N goes to, that's also like the same meaning. Encode, encounter, in. And for means before. Forecast, foresight, forehead, right? Before. And infield, infiltrate, the meaning also in, right? Imbalance, the opposite or not. Imbalance, right? Inter means between, international, interact, like that. And mid is the middle, says the midpoint. midpoint, midday, midway, like that, the middle. Miss means wrongly, misfire, misunderstand, misbehave, wrongly. And non means not, nonsense, non-exist. Right. These are some prefixes with the meanings. Right. Right. Then now let's go to suffixes. Right. Suffixes are added to the end of the base word. They are added at the end of a base word. Right. They change the meaning of the base word. Change the meaning of the base word. Wonder. They change the word class also. They change the meaning of the word class. It changes the adjective into adverbs, or the verb into noun, like that. They change the word class also. Change the meaning or the word class of the base word. Wonder. This is a noun. Wonder, noun. When we add full, it becomes an adjective. Wonderful. Right? Like that. Rest, verb or noun. When we add full, restful, it is an adjective. Right? Now, what are the suffixes you can identify here? First one, farmer. The suffix used here is er. The person. It denotes a person. Farm is also a noun. Farmer is also a noun. But it farm denoted a place and the farmer denoted a person. Right? Act. This is a verb. Act. When we added or, it became a noun. Actor, a person. Right? Use, verb or noun. When we add less, means without, so it now became an adjective. Right? Build, it is a verb. When we add able, it became as an adjective. Can be, it can be able to. Right? Reversible, reverse, noun, able. Right? It can be able to. That's the meaning. Right? Right. The suffix ly means in a certain way. Ly போடுறது mostly for adverbs. In a certain way. Right? Quickly means in a quick way. Loudly means in a loud way. So what does suddenly mean? In a sudden way. In a sudden way. Right? In a sudden way. Right. The suffix full means full of. F-U-L. Right? Single L, not double L. Right? Full means full of. Colorful means full of color. Playful means full of play. So what does thankful mean? Full of thanks. Right? Right? When we add ly, it changes as adverb, and when we add ful, it changes as adjective. Right? Right. Here, suffixes that make adverbs. Right? If you can note them, ly. When the suffix ends with ly, the meaning means in a manner, in that way, like quickly, slowly, loudly, like that. Word. Inwards, outwards, towards, right? W-A-R-D, forward, backward, like that. Shows the direction. It shows the direction. And ways, it also shows the direction, sideways, right? These suffixes give us the adverbs. What do they give? adverbs. Right. And suffixes that make nouns. Right. What are they? ANT means a person. Assistant. Right? A person. ANT. Right? And WE also a person. Referee. Trainee. Like that. WE also denotes a person. And ENCE ends. What is it? An action or state. Difference. Conference. Right? An action or state. ER or OR also denotes a person. Teacher. Actor. OR. Right? OR or ER. ERY, a type of place of work. Bakery. Right? A type. Machinery. Like that. ERY. Machine. Machinery. Bake. Bakery. Right? EWS gives us the feminine form. Penbalataram. Waitress. Actress. Like that. Right? EWS. And full. What does it give? As much as willful. Fill. A spoonful. Careful. As much as will. Careful. Helpful. Right? எவ்வளோக்கு எவ்வளோ கூட இருந்தால் கவனமாக இருந்தால் அதை ஃபுல் நாங்கள் சொல்கிறோம் கூடவே இருக்குன்னா ரைட் ING an action or result. It may be the present participle. Present participle கூடுதலாக ஆட் பண்ணுறோம். An action or result verb இருக்கும் mostly. Painting, singing, dancing like that. ION a noun done. A process or state or result. Decoration, consultation, decision. Right? Like that. A process or state or result. Right? And ISM a belief or condition. Judaism, Hinduism, religion, Hinduism, a belief. It is a belief, right? Right. And IST also says a person who is professional in something. IST florist, artist, scientist, right? IST, a person. Meant an action or state. Measurement, right? Then the suffixes that make adjectives. Adverbs padraanga. Then we went through the nouns and now the adjectives. ISH, selfish, right? Greenish, a little. கொஞ்சம் அப்படி இருந்தால் நாங்கள் ISH, greenish, selfish, childish. He is very childish ன்னு சொல்லுவோம். ஒரு ஆள் describe பண்ணலாம். He is very childish, right? And less means without. It is there is nothing. Careless, helpless, right? Colorless, that is missing there. Only less பாவிக்கிறோம். Like means similar to. அது மாதிரி இருக்கு, right? Similar to, like. And OUS also full of. Joyous means joyful தான், கிட்டத்தட்ட joyful மாதிரி தான், right? Joyous. And some a tendency of quarrelsome அப்படியான characteristics இருந்தா quarrelsome, right? Some troublesome, right? A tendency of அப்படியான characteristics இருந்தா. This full gives you noun spoonful, and here is also another full that is also full of that quality. It gives the adjective. Careful, right? That is noun. Spoonful is noun. Spoonful of rice, right? A measurement. That is measurement, right? This is careful, helpful. These are adjectives. சரியா? இது adjective ஆகும் FUL வரைக்கும் வரும், right? Some suffixes that make adjectives. Nouns and adverbs are given here. சரியா? Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Adjective suffixes. Full, beautiful,
Funny.
Right. Why means funny. ing interesting. ed examples relaxed. Curious, sensible, reasonable, active, enthusiastic, intelligent, tolerant, loyal, honest, and polite. These suffixes give you the adjectives, right? These suffixes give you the adjectives. Adjectives are the suffixes, right?
Yes.
Then this is also the same thing. When the suffix word ends with age, that means a result, wreckage. ance importance. Ant denotes a person, assistant. Doubly, referee or trainee, something else. ence, an action or state, difference. or denotes a person, teacher, doctor, something else. ERY, a type of place of work, bakery. EWS gives you the feminine form, waitress, actress, like that, manageress. Full means as much as willful, spoonful. ing gives action or result like painting, singing, dancing.
Painting.
ion gives a process, state or result, decoration. Ism, a belief or condition. Judaism. IST shows a person, and MENT gives you the action or state, and able, inflatable, comfortable, and EN, that is made of, woolen, right? Made of means EN, woolen, right? And full of, beautiful, colorful, like that. IBLE, ability, able to, flexible, reliable, flexible. ISH, a little, greenish, selfish, childish, like that. Less means without, careless, like, similar to, or like, lifeless, lifelike. Or OUS gives full of, joyous, cautious, like that. Some means a tendency of, quarrelsome or troublesome, like that. Right. Now, add a suffix to the end of each root word. Draw a line to its new meaning. Right? I think you can do it soon. Helpful. Right? The suffix is added already. You no need to add now. Add panniyaje suffix. You have to find out the meaning only. Helpful means full of aid. Scientific, causing or making of science. Wooden, made of tree fiber. Parted, right. Parted means like departed. Came away, parted. Quickly, in a fast manner. Agreeable, can be of like minds, right? Right. Now, you have to add suffixes. Now you have to add suffixes. Suffix inga add panna and find out the meaning also. Loud, loudly, and the meaning in a loud way. Color, colorful, and the meaning is full of color. Right. Right. And wonder, wonderful. What is it? Full of wonder. Sudden, suddenly, in a sudden way. Play, playful, full of play. Right? Right. Now, in your textbook, there's an activity to use be full, less, ness, oly. Full means full of, peaceful, successful, like that. Less means without, homeless, helpless. Ness means state or condition, neatness, kindness, cleanliness, like that. Ly talks about the manner, eagerly, nearly, suddenly, quickly, like that. And then you have to copy the table and add the suffixes to the base words. In the base words, suitable suffixes should be added. Suitable suffixes that add pannavanam. Not all the suffixes are suitable for all words. Ella words ella suffixum suit pannadu. Right? You have to find out the suitable suffix. You can use a dictionary at your home. Right? This is for your homework. This is your homework. The next activity also your homework. If you fill out the grid, you can do the next activity also. In the activity in Chelam, right? Both activities are for your homework. Try it out in your at your home. Let's meet in the next class with the answers. Answers for the next class part. Right? Thank you, students. Yes.
Thank you, teacher.
Right.